Thank you for taking a few minutes to look at Gravity's purchase order system. As you can see here on the left, the whole process starts with creating purchase orders, then moving to PO receipts if we're purchasing inventory, and then matching with a bill from a supplier. So we can actually do a two-way match of a purchase order to a bill or a three-way match of a purchase order to a PO to a bill. Now we're in Gravity's new user interface, and this exposes many items, so it makes it easier to see what's happening in the purchasing system, such as how many open POs do we have, how many overdue POs do we have, and do I want to run specific reports here like a vendor analysis. This menu keeps these items easily accessible even if we're in other parts of the system. But before we can talk about purchase orders, we have to actually take a quick look at inventory. So I'll move here to the inventory system, and we'll open up one of the two main files on inventory, which is inventory items. This is a listing of all my active inventory items. On an inventory item, there will be a lot of items that will actually impact purchasing, such as item costing, the type of item it is, and are we going to be tracking this item like with lot or serial numbers. But I'm going to move to this next tab, which is giving me inventory quantities. It's showing me that this item is actually available at two of my inventory sites. Currently at the default site, I have 73 on hand, and I have one on another purchase order. But on my main site, I have nothing right now. So we can purchase actually to individual sites and manage purchase orders as they're being executed and then received at those sites. So let's move back to purchasing, and I'll go back to the expense menu and we'll go into purchasing. So let's jump into a purchase order. I'm going to pick one of the existing purchase orders here. We'll start with 1003. Obviously, the first thing we define is a vendor. When we define a vendor, it brings up a lot of additional information. I can define a shipping method. I can even put a detailed description, if I'd like, of shipping instructions or special handling. This can appear anywhere on the purchase order that you would like. Addresses will appear, which includes your address for the vendor where you're sending the purchase order to and where you want the item shipped to. We can even edit this so we can have it shipped right to a supplier if we want to have some additional manufacturing done before it comes into our plant. So I'm going to go right here to inventory lines, for example, and you're going to see the ability to add or edit lines. Now I have my 19-inch monitor up here, and I'm ordering two of them. But I can also define things like the requested date and the promised date. So this gives me the ability to identify when I want items in and when the supplier has promised that I'll get those items. I would fill this out, complete it, and I would release this PO. At any point in the process, I can actually print this PO, and I'll be able to find the PO format that I want to use. So PO came up, as you can see here, with my logo on it and some other information. Now I can define this PO format using a Microsoft Word template. So I have complete control of the look, the feel, colors, logos, if I want any notes on it, if I want anything at the bottom of this, like special terms and conditions. So since it's Microsoft Word, we have complete control of the look and feel. Of course, we can send items through email and print a PO to send it or keep a copy of it. So once we release a PO, this is actually going to update the statistics on our inventory location site to tell the system that we have two items on order. So I release this PO. You'll see the status change to released. A few things that can happen at this point. We can always cancel a PO, of course. We can do a change PO. Now, we have a revision number here that will allow you to track revisions to POs. We keep all generations of purchase orders so you can see how it changed from one revision to another. Now that it's released, again, I could go to inventory and I would see that two are now on order. But I can go to the next step, which would happen when the items come in the door, which is PO receiving. And I can go out here and open up a new record, and I would have defined both the receiving date, which defaults to today. I could also define the vendor, and it's going to go out there and pull in, and again, any information on this vendor. And then I can go and define the PO lines that I want to actually select from. So we'll go out here and select a purchase order to be received. Now, you'll see that we have different sites here. So I can go out here and also sort this to only show me the sites that I'm working on. So I may be the main site, the storage site, so on. And it'll basically only show me those lines relating to the site that I'm at. If I want to receive an item in, like my 2 monitors, I'll just go hit add, and it will add those to the inventory lines down below here. So we'll just scroll down a second, and you'll see the 2 items being received here. I'd save this, post it, and it will show now that we have 2 items received, and inventory will be increased, and our accrued liabilities get increased also. When we match this the same way to a bill, we're going to be able to see that we've now gone from accrued liabilities to accounts payable, but we have those items in inventory already when we do the receiving. So thanks for taking a few minutes to look at Gravity's purchase order and inventory systems. Gravity.